So just yesterday, I read in the New York Times the article entitled Motherhood in the Age of Fear by Kim Brooks and was blown away. If you have not read this article, I will leave a link to it in the description box down below for you to go check out. In this article, Kim Brooks describes how she left her 4-year-old son in a car and had a warrant out for her arrest. It sounds crazy, right? Hi, my name is Sean. Welcome. If you are new, this channel is all about faith and motherhood, and I would love for you to consider subscribing while you're here. I post new content every week. Let's get into discussing this article. If you have not, stop right here, go read the article, then come back and watch this video. So if you see me looking down, it's just me looking at my notes to make sure that I get the quotes right from the article and the facts straight. In this New York Times article, the mother, Kim Brooks, describes this incident where she leaves her 4-year-old son in the car. She's visiting another state. I think she's visiting family from out of town, and she leaves her son in the car to go run an errand and then comes back. So she leaves the windows rolled down. It's like a cool day, and she locks the car door, and I can't remember if her son is like playing on his iPad or has snacks in the car, whatever. Well, she comes back, her son's perfectly fine, and I think either that evening or the next day they get on a plane and they fly home. And it's sometime later that she learns that there's a warrant out for her arrest because during the time that she ran the errand, another person saw her son in the car alone, video recorded her son, and then called the police. But by the time the police got there, she had already gotten back in her car and had no idea that any of this had happened and had driven away. Now, I'm not saying whether this was the right choice for her or the wrong choice for her, but I'm saying this is something that all of us mothers think about. Am I right? We all think about this. So Kim Brooks, the author, is upset about this, and rightly so. You know, she has a warrant out for her arrest when nothing happened to her child. Her child was perfectly fine. You know, she returned to her car. She had to run a quick errand. She came in and out. There's no law in the state that she was in. There's no law that says you cannot leave your child unattended, unsupervised. So she ended up, at the end of the article, she ended up telling us that she got a lot of hours of community service, that the charges were dropped, and she got a ton of community service hours. But in the article, she goes on to talk, she reached out to several other parents who had similar situations where they were either arrested or a warrant was out for their arrest, or something happened because they left their children in their car by themselves. But I can also understand from the stranger's point of view why they would have called the cops, right? So if I saw a kid in a car by themselves, I would be like, where's the parent? Where's this kid's parent? Especially a 4-year-old, you know, it's like, is that kid young enough to stay in the car by themselves? You know, where's the mom? Where's the dad in this situation? So I can understand from the stranger's point of view why they would have called the cops, you know, but did they wait around long enough to see if the parent came back? That's probably something that I would have done, is just kind of hang out and see, you know, where's this parent? You know, are they coming back for their kid? Because most parents aren't just gonna abandon their children in their own car, right? You're not gonna like park your nice car, leave your child in the car, and then never return to your car and your kid. All right, so in this article, I'm gonna read here, Kim Brooks writes, "We now live in a country where it is seen as abnormal or even criminal to allow children to be away from direct supervision, even for a second." So I definitely see this play out, that this is now the social norm, you know, that you can't leave your kids unsupervised, unattended. I see this on the playground. So when my son Ethan was of playground age, he's now 10, but when he used to play on the playground, there was this one time where a popular park we were at in our neighborhood, tons of kids playing around and everything. Well, there was this one 2-year-old, right, a 2-year-old who fell down. I can't remember, I think they were trying to climb the climbing wall. Anyways, they fell down. They were crying and screaming they're going, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy," you know, and speaking incoherently. Well, a couple of moms instantly rushed over because we look around and no parent is coming to this child. And parents, you know, when a kid falls on the ground and gets hurt and starts crying, the parent usually rushes over. So we're looking around, no parent. So we go over and we're like, where's your mommy? Where's your daddy? And we're looking around, we're like, it's okay. Of course the kid was scared because we were strangers coming up to him, you know. And then all of a sudden, now the bathrooms at this park were located a ways away. They're not within sight of the playground. Like, they are down a path through the woods. You actually literally go over a tiny bridge into the bathrooms. You can't see the park from the bathrooms. And all of a sudden, I would say 10 minutes later, after we're trying to it was me and 2 other moms, we're like staying close to the kid's like wandering around the playground looking for his parent, can't speak that well, crying and screaming, and of course trying to like run from us because we're strangers. And this dad comes from the bathroom direction with an older child, maybe 4 or 5, tugging on his hand, comes over. Sorry you guys, I had to go get some water. I'm so thirsty. I am loving these waters, and I know I've talked about them before, but I absolutely love these hint waters. They're not sparkling water, it's just water infused with fruit, and it just feels fancy, and I love it. And I get it off of box.com and sometimes Amazon Prime. Immediately grabs his 2-year-old, doesn't say thank you for looking after my son, or hey, what happened, why is my child crying, nothing. Just takes his 2-year-old and goes in the opposite direction to his car and gets in. And we're all standing there going, okay, all right, you know, hey, we wouldn't have minded watching your child if you just told us that you had to go to the bathroom. Like, one of us would have watched your child. Just let us know that you had to take your other child to the bathroom, or at least thank us for watching your child and trying to console your child after they fell. So anyways, that was a long drawn out, sorry you guys, that was a long and drawn out point to say that I definitely think it's society's norm that you can't leave your child unattended or unsupervised. People are going to think it's weird. Now, this is an interesting statement to make. A mother can only what does it say? A mother apparently cannot be harassed. A mother can only be corrected. And so you think about this, you know, if you are in public, a lot of times strangers will feel the need to tell you how to parent your own child, right? If you are disciplining your child in the store, sometimes other people will feel the need to tell you you're doing it wrong. If your baby is crying, they'll tell you how you need to do this for your child to keep them from not crying. Kim Brooks describes this other mom known as a Starbucks mom. Have you heard of this mom? The Starbucks mom, who left her 2 kids, her 2 young kids in the car, and ran into Starbucks to get a coffee. Now, to her credit, she could still see her kids in the car. She could see them through the window of the Starbucks. So they were not out of her eyesight the entire time. They were on their electronics, iPads or something. They were locked in the car. It was a cool day. It wasn't hot. I don't remember if she had the engine running. So she felt like they were perfectly safe. And by the time she came out, somebody had called the cops on her, and a cop showed up and told her, hey, why did you abandon your children to go get coffee? And she was like, hey, I didn't abandon my kids. I just went in to get coffee, and I could see them the whole time. Now, funny thing is she was a lawyer. I think she was I don't know. She was some kind of an attorney of some sort. And so she knew the law in her state that she could not be arrested for leaving her kids unattended. And so she told the cop that. And then she goes on to give some advice to other parents, to find out what the laws are in your state. By Kim Brooks saying that mothers cannot be not be harassed. How many times do we have people tell us how to parent in public, and that's not considered harassment? If someone's coming up in your face and telling you, hey, you can't parent your child that way, or this is how you do need to parent your child, and getting up in your face, that's not seen as harassment. That's seen as correction, which I found was interesting. What do you think about that? Do you think that statement is true, that mothers in today's society can't be harassed but only corrected? I would love to know your opinion on that. First time, have you ever left your kid in the car alone by themselves? When I was a kid, my mom left me alone in the car all the time, especially if I was asleep. Oh my goodness, she didn't want to wake me up. She'd just leave me in the car and go run her errand. And I would wake up going, where am I? Where's my mother? Okay, I'm still in the car. Well, I guess I'll just wait here. You know, I never tried to get out of the car. No one tried to steal me or anything. Yeah, sometimes it was hot, but the windows were always rolled down, and that leather, remember those leather seats, pleather seats you get stuck to? So I've done it once, and Ethan was 9. This was last year. I don't remember what the circumstances were, except that it was at the grocery store. I did worry about what other people would thought, but I remember thinking, I'm just gonna run inside, I have to get this one thing, and I'm gonna come back out. I actually left my cell phone with my son, showed him how to dial 911 just in case he needed to do that. The windows were rolled down, I had him locked in the car, it was a cool day, it wasn't hot or anything, and I came back and he was just fine. So, and then more recently, now that I have a baby, I had to take my son to camp this week. My daughter keeps falling asleep. While I'm driving him to camp, she's asleep in the car, and I literally park outside this camp and I'll leave my son in the car with my daughter and I will run inside. There's big windows, I can see them the whole time. I'll sign him in and then go back out and tell him to go in, and I stand outside my car and make sure that my son gets in the door safely. I can see them both the whole time. Would that be considered wrong in today's society? Let me know. What do you think about this whole situation? Do you think that it is now society's norm to not leave our children unattended? Do you think that it is right or wrong for mothers, for parents in general, to leave their kids in the car, to run in and do an errand? You know, how young? What do you think about this? I'd love to know your thoughts on this subject. Leave them in the comment section down below. Please be polite. Don't be rude and nasty, please. Please, let's have a civil conversation, because I have a feeling that people are going to be divided on this issue. All right, well, I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here if you like to see content related to faith and motherhood, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.